Why don't we get started on this wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon? At least for me, it is afternoon because it is 12:36 here in the Mountain Standard Time. Valwo. No, I have different ones. I'm not going to refresh so I can feel special. I see. Well, welcome, Lizzie, welcome. Oh my gosh, it's Saturday. Did I say Sunday? I don't know. I don't know my days. Oh my gosh. I have so much energy. I have so much happiness. Why don't we get into it? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right. That's embarrassing. My face tracking software wasn't working. I was clicked out of it on my phone. Oh my gosh. So I was talking with my wonderful team. I was talking with my wonderful co-host and my wonderful guest prior to starting this and coming live, and I just want to say, like, seeing so many people coming back into the chat who have been here on the show before, whether they're guests, they're a guest, whether they're people who were here from the beginning and starting, or people who are going to be on the show. It's just so mind-boggling, and it's also so humbling at the same time, because when it just occurred to me, I need to adjust something in my eyes. This sounds weird. Frick! I'm sorry, fam. I will redo that routine because I'm going to adjust something with my eyes. Since we're on the show, I actually like to keep it so that it doesn't really track my eyes, and I forgot to do that. Oh, okay, there we go. Much better. All right, this will do. Ah, there we go. You peppered him out of existence. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like I said, with so many people who have been on the show before, who are coming on, who've been here since the beginning, whether they're a guest. Thank you, Vega. I appreciate that. I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I mean, I know you're here to support me, but it makes me happy you're here to support the people who are on the show, because really that's what this show is about. That's the reason why I started it, and it fills me with such happiness that so many people come to support our wonderful guests. And boy howdy, we have a wonderful lineup of guests, not only to come on the show, but also the ones we've had in the past. Because I'm seeing Yozuki in here, I'm seeing Breezy in here, I'm seeing Phantom. Well, Phantom is my guest, but I was seeing Rinthio, but then I see people who are also going to be on the show too. I see J-Droid, I see Vega, I see there's so many things I'm so excited, I'm so happy for, that I could just be grateful for. So the show is nothing without this wonderful community that I have been able to help come together and become. And with everything that's going on in the world, having something that people can reliably come to just have a good time and just see all the good that's happening, I feel as though is something I can truly be grateful for. So, I can't thank you guys enough. So, enough about me gushing over things. My goodness, Rithio, thank you for that. I appreciate that. If you haven't seen already, I released it. No, that cute moment out of the way. Thank you, J-Droid, for that. My gosh, what is wrong with all of you? So one of these days, if I have a little more traction, I have a little more money, one of these days what I should do is I should get one of the jackets that you can wear, that essentially the haptic feedback jackets and whatnot. That way, if I get pelted, I'll feel that. I'm just like, oh, there it is, kind of thing. You know, $300. I'll find it. I'll find a way. I'll get it. So yeah, if you guys didn't see before,
Beep boot bear strike.
no. Give me one moment. That hit me so hard that my heart rate jumped from 72 to 105. Huh. Thank you, Vamrela. I'm surprised it wasn't... I am incredibly surprised it wasn't Bombastic that did it. Did that. Oh, okay. Whew. I'm at 113 on my heart rate. Oh, please. I hope that was clipped. All right. Okay, we're good? We're good. I love you all so much. So, if you... Whew. Thank goodness I looked away from my screen and I didn't see that message. I'm so sorry, Phantom. I'm so sorry you didn't... Wait, can you access that just... Oh, no, okay. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get as much as a reaction of that. I was kind of on my toes. But that was good. That was funny. So, well, now we're out of kill streak, so we have to recharge it. Well, there's only one way to recharge that. Just keep using it. That's what makes it fun. So, I love you guys, but let me get through my intro so we can get to the show. I love you all. let me do this. What was I saying? I was saying that if you haven't seen it, I released a channel trailer for this channel, and fun fact, unsurprisingly, it falls in line with all of the stuff you see here, so mostly all of the Dr. Pepper throwing. So if you're not a part of the Discord already, come join the Discord, come have fun. We have so many things to do, we have so many channels. Not only that, we also have a bunch of our guests there. That's where our guests are, so if you want to reach out and collaborate with them, we have a channel for that. It's super fun, it's super cool. And if you're not a part of my co-host's Discord, my co-host also has a Discord, so please follow my wonderful co-host. That's one of my mods, the Phantom Fame. He's wonderful. He's on the show with me, so don't just support me, support him, and also support our wonderful guest. So with that in mind, no, ignore the dead guy. The dead guy's me. That's me when I get hit with all of your Dr. Pepper queued items, and I could not ask for it any other way. So yeah, let's quickly talk about last stream. Wasn't much in the last stream. We played Dead by Daylight. I tried my best to get my capture card working, because I was doing it on a TV that I have above me. It's not a TV. It's not a computer monitor. It's just a normal TV, like a normal 24-inch flat screen, or like 32-inch flat screen. It was displaying at 1280p by 720. And yeah, I love the stream. It was so much fun getting to play Dead by Daylight and getting back into that with Phantom. Well, it was Phantom, Hive, Robe, and me. And oh boy, There was so much fun to be had. We won, we lost, we laughed, we cried, we died, we did all sorts of things. So yeah, that was really fun. We're gonna be doing more of that in the future. Next stream tomorrow we're going to have our wonderful guest Vega, which I need to set out a. Do I have a? Wait, watch this. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. I sent that and didn't put anything after it. We're just gonna let that sit there and stew because of my own folly and stupidity. That's vague. I want to cry. Thank you for giving the shout out. I'm gonna try and set up I'm gonna try and set up something similar to Phantom's thing. We'll get you the fancy clip shout out soon. Yes, I appreciate that. So yeah, Vega in chat, he is going to be our wonderful guest tomorrow. So if you haven't followed him, support him, please go do that. You'll follow his channel, follow his Twitter, follow whatever he has. You know, the same with our guest today, Vamrela. Also, something I need to start plugging a little more, I have a Twitter. That is the link, that is my username up above me. Follow me on Twitter, you can get all of my updates, and you can get all of my trash takes on anime, and also, it'll mostly just be tweets about Dr. Pepper. I'm sorry, not sorry, that's just how it is. You throw it at me every day, every time I stream. What more did you expect? Thank you for that. So yeah, I've talked enough because I ramble. So why don't we actually get to the show today? So without further ado, I've had the opportunity to talk with a lot of VTubers on this channel, but I haven't had as much opportunity to talk with people who are using 3D models as much. Now, we did have Breezy, but Breezy was a little different because Breezy had a bunch of different models that she uses to do a bunch of different. Let's get rambling. I love that reference. But Breezy uses a bunch of different models for a bunch of different skits and all this fun. And so, which I don't remember how she got the how she got all the models. But with our guest today, talking with her, I find out that she was also using what I used to create my model, which I'm actually making updates to currently. Born in the back of a groundhog bus. I thought it was wait, born in the back seat of a Greyhound bus. That's what it is. Yeah, Greyhound bus. I get the reference, Rinthio. I love you. I know. I'm sorry you're tired, but I love you for coming over and especially doing that. You get my reference. I get your reference. We get each other's reference. So, but it's refreshing and fun to talk with somebody who understands the trouble that Vroid causes, because sometimes it's very difficult to get what you want out of it unless you really hunker down and spend the time doing it. So it's something I am grateful to have, because again, I don't have as much I don't have any experience in the whole 2D aspect of it. 3D is what I like because I get all my facial features and animations and aspects, you know, like a I can do all this with my face. And so I love that. I can't get as much out of that with 2D as I think I can unless I pay a lot of money. Regardless, our guest today is wonderful. So, with that in mind, today we will be welcoming Vamrela, the upbeat VTuber bunny waitress who has a strong love for frogs, a near addiction to coffee each morning, and she streams a variety of games, such as Baldur's Gate 3, Phasmophobia, Left 4 Dead, or anything else that her heart desires. In addition, she does occasional art streams and quieter studying streams. She loves to collab with others, so if you're looking, Vroid is amazing, I wish I knew about it sooner. It's super fun, it's a fun thing. She loves collabing with others, so if you want to collab with Vamrela, join the Discord. We have a channel set up for seeking collabs. It's so much fun. I highly encourage you to be a part of it. My model likes to lag. Let me open my thing. She loves to collab with others, where she can truly shine and showcase her sometimes forgetful nature, and often eyebrow-raising, sus remarks. So, without further ado, please welcome our wonderful guest for today. My gosh, I'm still getting used to my new shortcuts to go to my scene transitions. That was my capture card. That's embarrassing. It's not a stream without scuff. Vamrela, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Trying to endure the scuff that is my stream.
And
I get
there's
it.
more of it than normal today.
Maybe it's just I'm so excited to be here, and because of it, like, you know, I'm just super animated and super in there. So, but yeah. Anywho, what's been on your plate today? What have you been doing recently that, you know, we could start off talking about?
My plate today started with waking up at 12:30. I'm 2 hours ahead of you. So it is about 10 to 3 for me now, so I've only been up since 12:30.
Oh.
Man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot you're in my time zone.
Yeah, so that was I usually don't wake up that late. That's about 6 hours late for me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I'm actually going through my coffee right now.
Oh goodness, so I'm just drinking Diet Pepsi.
Do you like
do you
Diet
normally
Pepsi for like the
Do you normally
taste?
sleep super late after after a stream day?
No, actually. It's just I've had finals this week, and it's been causing me to stay up till about 2 to 3 in the morning every single day, and then I get up for work at 6 in the morning. So I was exhausted.
I see. But about the Diet Pepsi. So right now it's currently, and I had talked about this. I sent up a tweet on it, and I also put out a message in the general chat of the Discord. Again, if you're not a part of the Discord, join the Discord. There's so many fun channels. You can talk with all of our guests and set up collaborations and all that. Sorry, I had to do that.
No, actually, to speak on that, that is actually the way I have worked with some people. I've actually worked with Sevilla, which connected me to Ribs. Who else did I reach out to from here? I know I reached out to other people. I think me and Vega connected via the server.
Yeah.
And I think there's one or two others that they're probably just offline, so I'm not looking at them right now. But yeah, I have actually used it myself. I can vouch for the fact that it does, in fact, work. Reaching out to people who were just on the VOD, and it's been a lovely experience. There are people that I have been watching obsessively that I never knew about before they were guests on the VODs or before I was introduced to them through the server. So
Yeah.
highly recommend going in there, checking things out, because I think probably 70% of the VTubers I've talked to have been apprehensive about reaching out to new people. And everyone's in the same boat. Everyone wants to make new friends. Everyone wants to be cool and collab with really cool VTubers. And I haven't run into a VTuber yet that hasn't been absurdly cool, really chill, and just wonderful to get along with. So jump in there. Don't be shy.
Aw, thank you, Renthio, for that. That truly warms my heart. That it's just fun to listen to. I love that emote, Blueberry Tay. Hey, Blueberry Tay. I was like, I know we've played. I can say Tay. Wait, but if I say Tay, I could also be referring to my head mod. Oh no. But
Did they go by Tay?
yeah, he sometimes goes by Tay. Depends. See.
I go back and forth between Tay and Bloobs.
I'll call you whatever you want. All right, I'll call you on the show, and we'll get you on. I'm smooth.
The Rizzler.
The Rizzler. So, to talk about what I was going to say before, is that today is a very busy day for me. In that currently I'm in a break between work. So I was called into work to mix a fashion show. And I had to come in at work at 9, from 9 to 12. And then I had to make the show today from show the Get to the Rizzler. Zoomers. I had to show up to work from 9 to 12 today, and then I'm doing the show today from 12:30 to 2:30. I'm going back to work from 2:45 to 4:30. So, and I didn't have any time to stop at the store to get a bottle of Dr. Pepper, so I just have a bunch of Diet Pepsi. So I'm like, I'm just drinking Diet Pepsi right now. And it's good.
Do you like it for the taste, or like what?
So I will talk about that in a moment, David. My dad drinks Diet Pepsi. Now, he used to drink a different drink, which I won't really talk about, but if you get the idea, and when he quit drinking that, he used soda as a substitute, and so Diet Pepsi is what he started to drink instead. And so that's what I kind of grew up around, was just him drinking Diet Pepsi, and I just started drinking it, because of him, and I don't know, I like the taste of Diet Pepsi because it's not as like sugary and syrupy as normal Pepsi. It doesn't stain my teeth, nor does it give me as bad heartburn. But I like Diet Pepsi. I think it's a good.
That's the allure of Pepsi versus Coke, because Coke is kind of designed to be more of like a drink that you gulp down. That's why it's less sweet. It's got a little more syrup, a little less. It's got more of like a syrupy taste, but it's less sweet. Whereas Pepsi is like absurdly sweet because it's soda. You're supposed to sip it, not just chug that.
So
Not just chug that shit.
you want to hear something fun? So
Oh.
during the Pepsi versus Coke debate, what a lot of people don't realize is that Pepsi was invented and conceived in a time before refrigeration was as big and common, before refrigeration was really invented. And when I say refrigeration, I mean common refrigeration, the households. And because it was invented like that, it was mainly manufactured where you can drink it warm. I drink warm Dr. Pepsi. My gosh. I drink warm Diet Pepsi all the time because it just tastes normal. Whether it's cold or warm, it just kind of tastes the same. It's just the temperature. But with Coke was really invented after refrigeration became a mainstay in the modern home. And because of that, that is why Coke tastes like it tastes good cold, but it doesn't taste good warm.
Huh.
So, and if you want to kind of test that, I dare you to go to the store, buy like a 50-cent can of Coke and a 50-cent can of Pepsi, or two of them. Buy two of each. Put two of the cans in the fridge, and leave the other two and just put in like your pantry or on the table. And so once a couple hours have gone by, you have cold soda. Take them out and crack all four of them open, and take a sip from each. And then you will taste the difference, where when you take a drink of that Pepsi that's been out on the table, it will taste fine. 50-cent economy, they have vending machines in my town that sell cans for 50 cents.
Yeah. Tathan, I was also wondering where the hell he's going to get 50 cents a can. I mean, he must be like at least 45. I don't know.
It's an 8-ounce can.
That's still like $1.25.
Yeah. What
See,
are you talking
where I live,
Even at a vending machine.
where I live.
Do you live on top of the mountain?
No, but I live in a high elevation. So
Not much I need.
that's 8-ounce can. It's a small can, like like a normal 8-ounce can, or is it 12 ounce? I think it's 12 ounce. Sorry.
Yeah.
12 ounces is normal.
Yeah, so the normal 12-ounce can, like there's vending machines around my town that it's just 50 cents for a soda. So, like I said, if you can afford it, like I said,
Thank you.
of course. If you can afford it, do that little experiment, because you will see POV Vamrela's home address because of soda pricing. Yep, that's me, guys. I live at this address at this zip code in this state. Well, that's the thing.
Anytown, USA.
United States. Yeah.
let's see.
Me and Bam are on the same page. While we're at it, are you actually gonna look that up?
What?
The different prices of soda, state to state?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, it sounded like you were for a second. But,
So
we haven't asked Val the very first question yet.
yes, that's right. The very first question, the most important question that I always ask my guests at hopefully the beginning of every show, and that is, who are you, and what is your story?
Who am I and what am my story? I'm afraid that like I'm just an average girl. Honestly, who has the interest in VTubing. I wanted to VTube for about 3 years, but I was very intimidated by startup costs. Even with like Vroid, this was way early in Vroid, so I was it was a little more difficult to navigate, I think, than it is now.
Yeah.
But I who are you? Dox yourself? I'm in Florida,
Thank you,
unfortunately.
Thank you, fish.
All right. I also have ADHD, so I'm like, oh, where was I?
Oh, we all do. Most VTubers do. That's why I think it's funny whenever I see the ADHD tags. I'm like, that really is a given.
Yeah.
ADHD, weeb, and simp are all basically given tags.
I don't have ADHD.
That's what you think. I'm gonna stop
I'll give you the
right
number
there
to my
and tell
psychiatrist.
You might. I've seen how easily you get distracted.
That's just because I'm dumb.
J-Droid feels called out. That's okay. I'm one of you.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah, I remember where I was now.
I'm just-
I had a good friend named Melody who also streamed. She's a Vroid streamer. She said, hey, what is your concept? Let me take a look at it, and I'm gonna make you a model. She made it in like 20 minutes and sent it my way, and I was incredibly... I nearly cried. and my concept was actually quite different than what it is now. But I took that and I started to do more research. I tweaked it a lot, actually. No offense to like her 3D, her Vroid making skills, but it was just something like, okay, now I can actually see and work out what I may want and nail something down. And I just got a simple Logitech webcam and a Blue Yeti. I didn't get anything too crazy or fancy, and just started. I've seen a lot of hate for Blue Yetis, and I was kind of under the impression that Blue Yeti was a good starter mic. Because the last time I really looked into starting was back when it was.
Can I talk about this?
I think the audio nerd has something to say.
So,
feel free.
Before I got into audio equipment, I was under the impression that the Blue Yeti was not a good microphone. Since working with professional microphones, which if you guys have seen on my Twitter, it's _Valentine0. I posted a picture of a microphone that I get to do voice work with regularly, and it is the Neumann U87, the industry standard for voiceover, which is a $3,800 microphone. Now let me tell you something. Do you know what the difference is between that mic and a Blue Yeti is?
What?
Price tag?
Price tag, and all the Blue Yeti will do, or all the Neumann will do, is just bring out all of the sound in your room.
Huh.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that. And the thing is that as I've worked with industry standard microphones that have spanned from the 40s all the way to releasing just last year, I can tell you that something like a Blue Yeti is very good and affordable for what it's worth. Now, I use an XLR microphone. XLR is the standard 3-pin connector cable used for most modern microphones, whether it's a dynamic or a condenser microphone. I won't talk about the difference between the two right now because that'll take up a lot more time.
Thank you.
The point is that I have that. I run that into an audio interface that runs straight into my computer. That requires 3 different cables with an adapter. if you choose to get a USB mic such as the Blue Yeti, it's such a good power horse. Why? Because it acts as its own gain control, it acts as its own audio interface, it acts as its own monitoring system so you can plug headphones into it. It also acts as an analog to digital converter. So when people try and dismiss the yippee from my quadcast ignoring stupid cables, when when people talk about how you need to have an XLR microphone with an audio interface to get into streaming, I tell you, no, you don't. That's why the Yeti is a very good. Heck, I have a Blue Yeti Snowball. It is a little tinny, but I can EQ that and make it sound better. I don't need any extra things. I can control all of that from my computer. That if you're looking for a mic and you want reliability and you want something that is easy to work with, a USB mic works perfectly, just like the Blue Yeti. I just want to get this off my chest because people who are bad-mouthing the Blue Yeti, I just think they're fundamentally wrong, because the Blue Yeti is a very good microphone for what it's worth. Pardon me. I'll make it off my soapbox.
No, it's fine. Like I actually like it.
It's a good microphone.
Yeah, when I was after I bought it and I was like looking up, ways to make it sound better through OBS. So many people were like, you may as well just buy a new mic, and I'm like, well, that's not an option for me. I already financed this thing. Which just seems funny to finance a, like $100, $120 mic, but...
Well,
I also think people are really quick to say that you need to upgrade your equipment, because those people aren't putting the time in. They're just Googling the fastest answer and just running with it, because half of the time, the stuff you have on hand works. That's like, I'm a big proponent of using OBS for everything, because it's the lightest on your computer. It's so overly like optimized, but it also has like a ridiculous amount of plugins because it's so simplified that it can look more complex than the others, but most of them are just copycats with they just put in the services for you and make you pay for it. And it's totally free. And I have been experimenting around. I've been putting hours in. I mean, I was telling you guys while we were waiting backstage, I literally was still going, adding on more alerts, working on programming stuff in, and it works so much better than some of the other systems I've seen. It's fantastic. I think it's actually really similar, Vamrela, to what you're saying with how you were saying that you had to adjust your model, and it's not anything to do with. It's got nothing to do with how good or bad your friend is at creating models. You should be going into the things that you purchase and getting everything like you need to go in. You need to make sure that they're adjusted to your needs, for your settings, and for YouTube. Your face is completely different than everyone else's. No two faces are going to be exactly the same. You might be able to get away with some similar settings, but you have to go in and tweak. Absolutely.
Honestly though, like when I first started out, the only thing that I had bought for my model was the skirt that you can only partially see. Everything else is completely free. The ears are base Vroid. That's because I haven't been able to find ears that I like that are paid and a little higher quality. But
I feel it.
the hair is bought now. That's, some better braids, but I can always show off, it was base Vroid braids. Shirt, base Vroid shirt. The bow tie, base a free asset. Same thing with the eyes, all the textures. It was really surprising to see how well you can, how good you can make something look with just what's available for free, or even on Booth, it's only like a couple dollars.
Yeah, well, exactly, because expensive doesn't always equal great. I've seen plenty of people that have really expensive models, and they look like shit because they haven't rigged it to their face. They've literally downloaded the model, slapped it on there, and then just turned on a webcam, and that was it. They didn't adjust anything. It is the most stiff thing on the planet. That's actually something I've been struggling with, is I just upgraded my model from being a essentially like a waist up to a full model, and I feel like the person who made the model rigged it differently, and it feels much more stiff. And I'm trying to like loosen it up, get it to move and flow as much as it did before, because the cheaper model actually worked better because it didn't have the same limitations. And I feel like people sleep on that sort of stuff. Same with what you were saying with the Blue Yeti, where people think just because it's a cheaper mic or a easily accessible mic, more people can get a hold of it. It's not rare. You don't have to go to a special website. It's not something where you have to have like an elaborate setup. It's a plug and play.
Yeah.
People think that just because it's easy means it's bad, and that's so far from the truth. It's so far from the truth.
Yeah, and really, it's like you can find a 3-minute video on YouTube on exactly what filters to slap in the OBS to make your Blue Yeti sound good. And it made all the difference.
Well,
From my first stream where I had no filters on my Blue Yeti at all, like just plain Blue Yeti, nothing in OBS. And then when I finally got to do that, it was like night and day. I went back and listened and I was like, wow, it sounds so much better. Like it's, you know, you don't need an expensive mic.
Well,
I mean, I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because if there are streamers out there who are looking to go into their filter settings for their audio in OBS or Streamlabs or whatever software you use, I'm gonna give you a little tip. You don't need as many filters for audio as you need to. And this is coming from somebody that works professionally in the audio industry. In my experience in working with it, and especially with my OBS or my Streamlabs, the most you'll need is a compressor and maybe noise suppression. But a compressor is the only thing you need, because you can control your gain, which means you can turn up how sensitive your mic may be. I mean, it's a digital sensitivity, that's why I have the interface which controls the mic's actual sensitivities, but you can make it louder, softer with that gain, and you can make sure you don't blow out your listeners' eardrums. So a compressor is really all you need. Like, you don't need to do any EQ. Most people don't know enough EQ to really understand how much they're doing unless they watch a video. And that's okay, because all that stuff is complicated. I've taken classes and certification courses in order to know this stuff for the professional world. Thankfully, with a lot of the software that we have these days for streaming, you don't need all of that. It kind of does it for you. And it's so cool, like, compared to streaming like back in 2011 or 2015, you know, it's just super incredible to think about how the strides and leaps and the bounds that we've had as we have in terms of content creation. So if you're looking to change your audio settings for stream, you don't need to do as much as you think. A compressor and a simple noise suppression software is all you need. Also, I just want to point out, Vega, because I saw your comment with the SM58. You have no idea how much I love you for that, because the SM58 is one of the greatest microphones ever created. For $100, that'll do whatever you need it to. I'm sorry,
I also agree with him that the like a limiter, because that's something where, because we went over my stuff and I actually had to go back and change them a little bit. I think there is also a point to make sure that you're understanding not just your voice, your room, your microphone, but also how you use it. Changes everything, absolutely everything. Because myself, I will go from talking in a normal tone to shouting in moments, in mere moments. So I'm with Vega, where it's like, yeah, I actually myself need to make sure that I have things more compressed and have a limiter on, because I took them off for, I think, 2 streams, and the amount of peaking and clipping was it was very interesting, to say the least.
And that happens. And the thing is, limiters are a garnish that you're like, if you're okay with all of a sudden you get really loud and then it compresses the ever living heck out of your voice and you're okay with that, that's what it's meant for. That is what it is used for. Now, something I will say is limiters are good. Most streamers I don't think should use a noise gate. Noise gates are not good. Don't use noise gates.
If you, really depends. I have to use one because I use a sound bar, and I have headphones in now because I want to make sure absolutely nothing gets through that shouldn't be getting through. But I have to use one because my setup is really weird. But I went and took the time to make sure it's set up in the right order where it's. I think I did like a noise reduction, then a noise gate, so that you don't hear the room sound when the mic is off. But it's like you have to kind of do things in a really weird way. It makes everything strange, and there are still times where it's like, whenever I open my mouth, suddenly you hear something else in the background.
Yup. Noise gates are a funky thing, and at the end of the day, all of this stuff they're tools to use. And if you're gonna use a tool, it's best to learn what it does and how to appropriately use it. Because if you take a hammer to a bandsaw, pardon me, I'm sorry. If you take a hammer to something like particle board, it's not gonna work. That's not what it's used for.
I've made it work.
You've made, bam, dang. Well, moving a little bit past audio stuff, as much as I love audio stuff, a question I thought of pertains to what you're talking about with you building your model. So when we look at VTubers these days and how eccentric models can be, oh my goodness, I'm carbonation from that Diet Pepsi making me burp. When we look at VTubers these days and how advanced these models are going to be, like for instance, there are some models, like some commissioned artist and rigging person posted some of the like models they've done, and I'm like, oh, these are so cool. They did some work for VShojo and other indie people, and I'm like, that's so cool. I wonder how much they are. It's about $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
For those models, and I thought to myself, man, is the price just gonna only skyrocket more as things are happening? And so the question I'm coming to is, how do you feel about this ever-growing market of model building when the bar for entry is free? Because
that is a fantastic question.
Yeah.
So honestly, it really depends on which medium you're talking about. If you're talking about 3D versus 2D, so obviously a lot of people want to do 2D. My opinion, you can get away with so much more elaborate designs in 2D versus 3D. Unless you're actually commissioning a very talented 3D artist, like some of the VShojo models do, like Zentreya.
Yeah.
Woo. Give me a moment.
It's okay. Zentreya's model does that to us all.
The smile on that model. Anyway, so it's a I think you have to look at it as a 2D versus 3D sort of discussion. 3D does have that lower barrier to entry where you can get away with doing things completely free and just buying a webcam and a mic, and that's it. Everything else, there's so many free assets out there. OBS is free. Streaming the game is free, other than taking into consideration the cost of the game and your internet. But 2D, you have to wait up to, I would say at least 4 to 6 months just for the rigging alone. There's so many layers to the art. That's gonna cost you sometimes $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have seen it pretty much up there, and I thought, maybe one day I'll transition over to 2D, but that is a lot of money.
So do you think that there may be because at least what I've seen with a lot of these people who have these really cool models, yes, they look really cool and they're fantastic, but I feel like if you don't have a good personality to boot, I feel like you're essentially buying the shell of a Lamborghini with the engine of a jalopy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something, in my opinion, that comes down to streaming in general. I mean, you have to have a good personality to stream, or at least something that people like to watch or listen to, you know?
So then, are there any kind of like, softwares or any kind of like things that you recommend for people who want to kind of, take advantage of the free things that are out there that if they want to start VTubing?
For 3D, Vroid is I'd say like the number one go-to. Vroid is made by Pixiv, and they also run Booth, which has a lot of the free assets you can get for Vroid that are really cheap. You just have to figure out how to navigate it because a lot of it's in Japanese as well. Honestly, you can pay like $5 to an artist on VGen, or is it Ko-fi or Ko-fi?
Yeah, I
know.
think it's
I think it's coffee.
Yeah, it's coffee.
Okay.
Because the whole brand is like, buy me a coffee.
Gotcha. So on coffee, yeah, you can get them really cheap. Just a PNG model, and you can toss that in the video tube, video tube, that or just Fuji, and just put that in the corner of your screen. And do that. So it's. Sorry.
Oh, you continue.
Oh. So it doesn't need to be expensive. It's when you want to start getting into more elaborate things that you're going to have to look at, okay, I need to run this program and this program and this program and this program. Like for when I start up stream, I load up VC Face. I hide my avatar in VC Face because I just use VC Face for the tracking specifically. It sends the data over to VTuber Plus, which integrates with my Twitch rewards and model switching and everything. I also have BikuBot for the TTS, and then OBS, of course. But really, all you need if you just want to stream and get started simply is just OBS, and depending on what you want, just like Fuji or something.
Well, you also brought up just because while I'm thinking about it, with all of this free stuff in mind, how do you think it's changed the landscape of VTubing since before, when we talk about like old school VTubers, like Kizuna AI, back then having to commission an actual model back then, there was no real free software for that. And so, at least in your experience, what is it kind of like, and how do you think it kind of changed how people can become VTubers with this free software? Because I feel like, in my experience at least, I never thought of doing content creation. It was never for me. But the idea of using a VTuber model and becoming a VTuber, I'm like, oh, well, suddenly I can now stream, but I don't have to use my actual appearance to do so. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think it's been fantastic, and with so many options becoming free now, it of course it just lowers the barrier to entry to streaming and VTubing. And so it gives everybody who's wanted to stream, and especially those who aren't confident in their appearance to do webcam streaming, but may not want to also just, stream their game and have nothing, other than maybe like a simple overlay there. It gives them an option to really delve into and start streaming. Like, for example, I wanted to do VTubing because I'm not confident in my real appearance. I've got some pretty low self-esteem, but when I'm able to just load up my 3D model, I can be like, okay, I can be me, I can showcase my personality and not feel so self-conscious about the way that I look. And if there's something I don't like with the way that my model looks, I'll just make note of it, and I can change it really easily, whether it's, say, I'm blinking too much, or maybe like my eyes, like my eyebrows, just if I raise them too much, I just look so surprised. and that's something I notice that I need to constantly adjust, and you know, that's something to do with, say, calibration. I can do that really easily. And so for other people too, they can be who they want to be with the whole VTubing market that's come up. And especially with it being free, I mean, you can't argue with lowering a barrier to entry. But on the other hand, you do get market saturation with that.
It's interesting that you bring up market saturation with that. I mean, let's talk about it a little bit.
I can't help it. I mean, like,
no, it's okay.
I graduate with a degree in business administration next week. So you know, looking at things from this sort of perspective is, well, kind of my thing.
Yeah, it's a very good perspective that I feel like when we talk about a lot of the fun stuff on this show, I feel like it also is wonderful when we get to talk about a lot of like some more of the serious topics that come with VTubing that, you know, other people may not want to talk about. And in this case, you seem well versed and incredibly verbose in the topic of this kind of just this realm of VTubing. So I thank you for your perspective and your insight.
Oh, thank you. I'm still kind of new to everything. I mean, I've only been doing it since July, so there's still plenty for me to learn.
It's half a
I
year
guess I
though.
just,
longer
like,
than us.
Yeah.
It's more than you guys?
Yeah, I started in September.
Oh wow.
I started October 1st.
Wow.
So
Yeah, see? And that kind of goes back to our conversation earlier, where it's like it really is like how much work you put in that defines like how other people look at you. I've had when I first started interacting with people, there were several other people that thought that I've been doing this for a very long time because I'm very comfortable I'm on camera in quotation marks. But I'm very open, I'm very comfortable. I have a very decent flow. I feel like I have a lot of polish on things that I do. There's still scuff. There's always scuff.
he's got oil on the muscles. I've seen this man shirtless.
Hey yo.
I donated my 69 bits to see that man shirtless.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, no, he hasn't.
Actually,
Like,
yes, I have.
No. Have you? What?
You sent me this picture of you with the eagle mask.
Oh, that's right. I was shirtless in that. I forgot. Yeah, originally, I was intending on wearing. I was originally planning on Pooh Bearing that, but I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
my
God,
my
that
eyes
made
could
me
not
sick.
handle such perfection.
Oh, of course.
Sorry, continue. You know, you wouldn't being polished and all that.
Right, but so I think that polish is very important. I think it really brings out that professionalism. It's not always just how you conduct yourself. Sometimes it really is like, okay, do you have like an intro screen, or how do you start your stream? Do you do an introduction? Do you just open it up? The gameplay's already started. You're already mid conversation in a Discord call, and everyone's just kind of like, we started. So, it's beginning. Well, it was nice knowing you, Val. But
Bye, Val.
yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said for having.
Why is everyone doing it at once?
But having just a general idea of how you.
How many points do you have?
Listen, okay, from what I've learned, it's definitely about how cheap you do it, because for a while I had my hydrate redeem at like 50 points and
Job,
no
Monosuke.
cooldown. So I basically got waterboarded.
Oh my god.
I had to chug. Yeah, oh no, I had to chug essentially what was maybe half a gallon of water. all at
See,
once, and
I
I'm like, nope.
disabled the hydrate redeem, the posture redeem, and I don't think look at chat is one. I actually have been debating doing that one. But yeah, I disabled those because I was like, I will drink when I need to drink, and I will stretch if I need to stretch. I don't need chat telling me to do that. I will let them bully me in other ways rather than just checking my posture. I could bring Karen up here if I wanted to deal with that.
Oh my gosh,
I actually really enjoy the posture check, and I've found ways to make it kind of fun rather than just like just redeeming a posture check. I actually commissioned somebody to make a 3D model of a shrimp because I like calling, incorrect posture shrimping.
Let's go.
Okay. Yep.
I know
Yeah.
that.
I feel a little called out, but sure.
Yeah, so what it does is when somebody redeems it, it throws a shrimp at my head and it'll stick for a couple seconds. Sometimes there'll be a
Awesome.
clown wig on it, but just a fun way to kind of like get chat to remind me, because I will forget, to sit up straight or drink water, to remind me and also interact with my model.
No, I
I'm
think that's
constantly thinking
fantastic.
of like new ways to get chat to interact with things, and channel points I think was a great way to do that.
Yeah, I
Especially
have
with
found.
like
Oh, go ahead.
Twitch integrated throwing systems, or I use
Tits?
VTuber
Mhm.
Plus. Yep, tits.
Yep. Yeah, you got to call it tits. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to say that acronym out loud.
Okay, tits.
We'll let it slide this one
See,
time.
I
You have
say
to call it.
Twitch integrated throwing system, but that's just me.
Yeah, it was tits.
Well, like to be fair, like maybe like a viewer who isn't, I guess, well versed in what exactly, what programs we use as VTubers may not know.
Of course.
So I like to say
Yeah.
it just.
But they can
out
just
loud
enjoy
like
that we're
everyone
talking
will
about
know.
tits, and
I mean, yeah.
they can try to piece it together from there.
I mean, I could
But,
talk about Twitch integrated throwing system, or I could talk about tits. I'm good
Yeah,
with either.
Or we could just talk about tits and switch back and forth between the different meanings and really throw them off.
Yeah.
Or we
That's my
could talk
favorite.
about the oversaturation of VTubers.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Oh, Vega combined them into 100 points to essentially do like a health check. I feel like I do remember. I couldn't remember what stream I saw that on. I'm wondering if that was Vega's. Because yeah, I think that
Ooh.
a huge part of streaming is interacting with your viewers, because otherwise you can go and watch a YouTube video. You don't need to sit there on your hands and just watch as things go by. Some people do really have FOMO and like to see things live. I'm not one of those people. If I am in your stream, I am chatting my fucking ass off, and I'm going to be doing that the entire time. Unless I have 7 streams open and I'm just farming points, which I will also do. I'm currently oh nope, I guess I'm not doing that for someone because they just rated out. But yeah, that is something that I will do frequently. Is that I will have multiple streams up. I'll jump in different streams, see what's happening, and if I see someone who's not interacting with chat, I will close that stream. And that can be someone that I have worked with. That can be someone that I just kind of know. That can be someone brand new that I was just looking to cooperate with, invite on the VOD, do something with in the future. I will shut that down in an instant if I see that you aren't interacting with chat. Because at that point, you're a YouTube video. You can do stuff on Twitch, and it's really smart to stream on Twitch while you're recording it, then use all that footage to turn into a YouTube video. That is actually that's the strategy I want to use in the future when I have more free time, or if I if I am fortunate enough to be able to do this as any form of career, be it part-time or full-time, being able to hire an editor and do. That is something that I just think multimedia should be multifaceted, and it's genius to do it that way. But you are not going to have the same success that you would if you had integrations with chat, if you're talking to chatters, if you have channel points that do things, bit rewards. There are so many resources that we have to interact with chat, and it takes forever to figure them out because there's so many, they're so different, they all work in different ways. I think that the streamers I have noticed that are growing at incredible rates are all of the ones that have lots and lots of channel point redeems, or they interact with chat a lot. Usually it's both. I think that is, whenever people ask for like, what advice can you give someone who's starting to be a VTuber, it is taking me less than 2 months to figure out that channel points is the way to go. It is the biggest thing you can do. Make sure that you are talking with them. You give them something where they feel like they're part of the stream. And I think it's so smart that you have started integrating that as not just, oh, like you redeemed like a posture check. And yes, sure. Okay. I'm making noise so you know that I'm checking my posture. It's like, no, you throw a shrimp at my head. That shrimp sticks to my head, and then I know I need to stretch.
Yeah.
It's an extra level that seems so small to someone who doesn't understand Twitch, but to any chatter, to any other content creator, we know how much of a difference that makes. We know that took you time to put in there. That's not an instantaneous thing where you just type shrimp please. Like you have to link it with other systems, you have to set up the alert, you have to make sure it works right, set the cooldowns up, make sure that they don't overlap and create like a secondary alert. There's so much that goes into it that people don't think about. And
Dude,
I think
not only
it's
just
so
that, but
smart of you to do that.
loading it into Unity just to export it as another file type.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Unity is such a pain.
Yeah, yup, it is.
I do not have to deal with that being a 2D handsome 2D boy.
Yeah.
But being 3D, eventually I would like to do that. I would like to have a model that I can use in things like VR chat, or I can put into games like Phasmophobia where we can mod in our own VTuber models. That's something I've been doing a little bit of research on. Doing a little bit.
That would be so cool. I've been on like a Phasmo binge recently. I think I started it in October.
So I guess we have.
No. The amount of playing I've been doing off stream.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Like I started in late October. It was the first time I played Phasmophobia. It's been basically a month and a quarter. I'm already up to like level 70.
Oh, that's right where I'm at. And I've been playing a lot too. Oh my gosh.
Looks like we have a new person to have on for Phasmo Thursdays.
I would love it. Yeah.
We do spooky co-op games on Thursdays. We'll definitely have to drag your ass in.
Yeah, I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah. We're getting to the point where we probably have too many people.
Oh.
And we're gonna have to start making multiple pods and playing dodgeball. We're like, all right, I want this person first. I want to make sure we play together. All right, I'm gonna pick this one.
I'm just
What'd be cool
ready to play.
Like
oh, go ahead.
It's like a Phasmophobia tournament where maybe somebody hosts it, and you have 2 teams of 4 racing to see who can find the ghost the fastest. Complete everything.
That's his new project. You can do that.
What I think would be fun is you take that, and instead it's a point-based system. So like if you guess the correct type of ghost, you get like 5 points, but like for every photo you take, or like an objective, that's another different type of point. That feels like that could be a really cool project to do.
You know what would be hold on. I just had a really good idea.
Okay.
Because you know what we played the other day? Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Yeah.
And Ultimate Chicken Horse has a feature where if everyone gets it, there are no points. What if we did a Phasmophobia tournament where your objective is to get the evidence and not give it to other people? And so the entire goal is to be the only person making it out with the different points of with the correct ghost. Obviously photos wouldn't be able to count, but
sabotage people.
Sabotaging other people being actually part of the game instead of just something fun to do.
Yo, welcome, Vigor.
Glory thinks it's stinky. What's up, buddy? Long time no see. Yeah, that would be really fun. That'd be really fun. I mean, there'd be, because that would create some Survivor shit like alliances, and that would be a great thing to do after we can figure out how to get custom models in so we know who is who.
That would be really fun.
Okay, that's
you could grab the music box, play it, throw it, and hide, and it would just catch everybody else off guard. Because there would suddenly be a cursed hunt.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we could do that would be terrible. Yeah, cursed items would be fantastic. Well, I think you'd have to make something where using a cursed item gives you points. And
you could also do the custom game modes too.
Yeah. Well, it would be difficult to determine who got the ghost first, but maybe you could go by. Well, I guess if only one person gets the ghost, only one person, it's probably going to be very difficult to get the ghost. But that could be really cool. I think that's something that could be workshopped. And I think this is sort of stuff that, it's not exclusive to VTubing, but it's so much easier to get custom models. Because I mean, I know there are a lot of YouTubers that have like their own models. Like I know Smitty's got the milk bag.
Smitty's got the milk bag.
Many others. Smitty's got the milk bag. Markiplier has the pink mustache. I'm actually struggling to think of others that are so easily identifiable. So maybe it is something that is almost not exclusive to VTubing, but is a major boon.
That's why I have my purple glasses here, because when I was getting some stuff done, I was talking with one of my mods, and I'm like, you know, what do you think? He's like, I don't like the purple glasses. It clashes with this. I'm like, but that's why it clashes, because it sets it apart.
Yeah.
It's different, because if I do something like the glasses are what makes it different than everything else in this outfit, especially so for those that saw the little teaser poster I put out on both the Discord, you know, come join the Discord, so many cool things, there's a link there, and on my Twitter, I'm holding the glasses in my hand. They're not on my face, but I'm holding them. So it is a big part of my brand to perform with them. So, you know, but something else that I think I wanted to bring up is this is a question pertaining to collaborations and projects for you, Vam. Is, since we're talking about these collaborative projects, you know, these things, you know, I have the VOD, that's my mainstay. This is what I wanted to do to set myself apart, what I wanted to make known, you know, this is what I have that others don't. You know, for some people that'd be holding a tournament to do in a game. Maybe they have this Minecraft SMP is their babies. That's what they want people to know them for. You know, do you think that these kinds of projects or these kinds of things are necessary? Do you think they're, for, as a VTuber especially, do you need to have something that, like a project or something that really sets you apart? That way you don't get caught in the wave of oversaturation?
I think so. You need something that sets you apart. I think for a lot of times, I think people go straight to design to set them apart. And sometimes it means just the most elaborate, complicated design you can think of. Which, don't get me wrong, they look great, but I mean, there's a lot out there. I mean, it's oversaturated for sure. So you have to find something that sets you apart. And sometimes it can't just be design. It needs to be your personality or something that you do, whether it's like the VOD or an SMP. Just something that people will think of and says, oh, this person does that. Vam does this. You know, Valentine does the VOD. And they remember that. Rather than just, this is a streamer and they play games.
And how can, in your opinion, how do you think people could find their niche to do that?
That's a tough and a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question, but it is really tough because it comes down to each person, you know? I guess, so thinking back on this business degree, is when you launch a business with a product or a service, you're asking, what role in the market can I fill? So if you're trying to find your niche, what role or what's something that's missing in the market that you can fill? Maybe it's the Phasmophobia tournaments, like we mentioned. You know, maybe that's something like I'll grab, and that could be my niche or something, because I'm not sure if I've found a niche, honestly. But yeah, what role can you fill? What can you do that sets you apart amongst the wave of other anime-esque or cartoonish people?
Right.
Models.
Well, especially because nowadays you look at people and everyone's multifaceted, multi-talented.
Yeah.
And everyone's always eager to show off what they've got. I mean, I feel like I have been a child of the internet for many a year now.
Yes.
Ever since
I
got my I'm 45.
Yeah.
Ever since I got my AOL account at the age of 13. No, I got it at 8. I think I was 8 when I got my first one. And Karen made it for me. It was great. And then every time I tried to do something online, she'd call one of my neighbors and I wanted to kill her. Because she talked for like 3 hours straight. and she would basically be like, "Ah, yes, go ahead, adventure quest." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then, "Oh, hey, Cindy," and I'm like, "That is our next door fucking neighbor. Like, you can walk over there." Oh, hi, Mary. How are you? Ha 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 ha. It's like, she's less than 300 feet away. You could walk over there. It's summer. Oh my God, fellow AOL user. I still have my AOL username. I literally have my first and last name, no dot, no numbers, just my first and last name.
There you go.
And let me tell you something, I'm never letting that go. My inbox right now is like, oh God, it's big. It's not the worst, because I actually went through and unsubscribed from a lot of stuff, but I think it's 33,000. Yep, there it is.
Nice.
So yeah, you know how it is.
That is.
And that's my that is my main email that I use. It's not like a side email.
Oh.
No, I've got like 7 email accounts, so
Same.
that I have access to.
Also, I have my personal. I have my professional one. I have my student one. I have my VTuber one. I have my Microsoft one. Yeah, so I have 5 different emails I use.
I have my spam one, my former personal one, my former personal one, my current personal one, my VTuber one, my throwaway Gmail one, my throwaway Gmail one, and then my student one.
My goodness, that's a lot. I mean, you know, I had some of those. I mean, I'm not a student anymore, so my student emails are gone. But yeah, like that's crazy to me. But I actually think that finding your niche is something you kind of, it just happens on its own. You have to stick with it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I feel like I'm still kind of finding mine. For the moment, because I really thought I was going to end up being like a deck building streamer. Like I was going to do card games. I was going to do like, I have my deck builder triathlon where chat can switch the games while I'm playing, and I just have to kind of roll with it. So I might only get 2 minutes to play one game, but I might be stuck in the other for like an hour. And the other one maybe gets like 20 minutes. Like that was a really fun thing I came up with that I might expand on. I might see if there are other people interested in it. And now, go ahead. Slay the Spire, Wild Frost, and Rogue Book are the 3 that I've been doing the most.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I've also played like Magic the Gathering. I've played like Cryftlands. I've jumped around between different deck building roguelites because I just seem to really enjoy that genre. And the funny thing is that most people in my chat have no idea what's going on. I'm their first exposure to most of those games. They might have heard of one of the 3 and then never played any of them. And people will still stick around. And that goes back to like the channel point thing, where channel points matter, because it's not just about having an interaction. It's about having an effect. It's about feeling like your presence there makes a difference. Or if it doesn't make a difference, that it's fun to be there in the moment. For
Oh my gosh!
Maybe you can throw stuff at Val.
Yeah.
And it's always great. Was you too. I always get such a huge kick out of realizing it's the guest that threw it. It's always funny to me. But yeah, I actually feel like my niche is like kind of shifting, where I was going through, because I saw Val's channel trailer, I saw Tokyo 3's channel trailer, and they both were so funny, so cool to watch. And I was like, I gotta work on mine. I gotta get this rolling. And so I started working on mine, and I realized almost all of my clips, A, contain Marie, and then B, are from Phasmophobia, because that was just what I played. I love playing with other people, and now I'm trying to transition from being someone who was like very focused on deck building to now I am like kind of like a variety streamer limbo. But now I want to move more towards like, yep, if you see me, I'm with someone else is going to be on the stream, either streaming with me or, you know, just hanging out with me on the side. And we're just palling around having a good time, because I realize it's not that people like me specifically, but they love what I bring out in other people and what other people bring out in me. And so I'm moving much more towards like, oh, I'm a collaboration streamer. I stream if I'm collaborating, and if I'm solo, there's, you know what's happening. This is what's going on. So yeah, It's changing. I know you like me, Fikori. Everyone does on some level. I'm like a golden retriever. You can't hate me. You tolerate me until like my owner tugs on the leash and then I go away.
Well, you guys are bringing, because as we're talking more about niches, that leads me to my next question of, what happens when you find your niche and then you realize, and this is kind of playing into your whole business administration experience of, because in terms of content creation, it's very much a market of supply and demand. And currently there's much more supply of VTubers than there are demand. So what happens when you find that niche, when instead of competing with just VTubers, now you're suddenly competing with, IRL streamers, what is it? Skin tubers is what you call them.
Flesh tubers.
Flesh tubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, skin sounds too nice. You got to make it sound like distasteful, which is very funny.
But how do you compete with that supply and demand when you find that niche and you realize you don't think you're going to be able to thrive in it? Do you make the compromise and say, I want to be a TF2 streamer. That is my niche. That is what I'm going to focus on. And you realize there's so much competition. Do you feel content and you just say, you know what, I'm fine with this, and if I get it, I get it? Or do you try and take a gamble on something that you don't necessarily normally do?
I mean, that all comes down to, like, what are your goals as a VTuber, and what are you comfortable with? If you do only TF2 streams, that's all you do. You don't do anything innovative or creative with them. You just sit there and you play round after round of TF2. Then you need to have, like, a personality that is, I guess, entertaining enough to keep viewers around, to make yourself different than any other TF2 stream out there.
That is it.
Any other
do you want me
League
to call the
stream, any other
ambulance now,
Overwatch.
or should I drive you to the hospital?
Why is that? No.
Uh-oh.
I'm joking.
I was like, oh goodness.
I was referring to the TF2 stuff because I know that's what you did at first.
I did, but that was just because I enjoyed playing TF2 that was before,
Right, of course.
that was before I was doing a lot of collabs, and that was because every weekend before I started the VOD I do TF2 streams because I just really enjoyed playing TF2 at the time, and I still do. But I realized that I get a lot more, because at the end of the day, while this is a hobby, I do want to try and grow and want to get bigger, and I realized that collaborations will help, and that's why and I've talked about in the past, is I enjoy solo streams. I really like solo streams, and I actually like them more than collab streams, but that's because it allows me to hone my craft of being able to perform on my own. Because if I'm purely relying on the attention that I get from people's viewers that I collab with, then I don't know if I'll necessarily translate that well to my solo streams. Now, one can make the argument, well, if they followed you during the collaboration, then they saw something in you, and then they'll watch you their solo stuff. Well, sometimes people see, oh, this is how they are solo, this is how they are when they're collab, maybe it's not my kind of thing that I want to watch. And so, it is definitely a case by case basis. So for me, again, I prefer solo streams more than collab streams, but that's also because it allows me to see, who shows up and who is part of the community that also likes seeing my solo stuff. And if people don't see that, that's completely fine. If it's one person can like football and the other person can like basketball, you get those two people in the room, they'll watch one or the other. It's not that they don't like the sports, but it's just that different people have different tastes.
I'm wondering if it's more of not so much that you're streaming solo, but that you just have much more structure when it's your own streams. Because typically when you're streaming by yourself, you know what's happening, when you're starting, when you're ending, you are in control. You aren't jumping into a game and then suddenly someone's like, shit, work called, I gotta go. Okay, well now we have an open slot, that'll be fine. Someone else comes in, they're like, hey, I'm starting to get too sweaty, I don't want to play when I'm super sweaty, I'm gonna back off so that way I'm not messing up the time for the rest of you. And it's like, oh, well, we only have two people, like, should we still keep going? I guess we should. Let's get some more people in. And then you get one person, they're like, I've got someone, let's bring them in. And then that person's playing on PlayStation. And then like it takes them like half an hour to figure out why their TV's not. No, I'm kidding.
Or they're running off of like a $15.
I'm making fun of Val because that happened the other day where we.
Oh.
So I started stream. Blue was streaming and I was lurking. I started my own stream and they're like, and someone from her stream invited me in, and then I invited Val in, and then like it was technical issues galore, and on multiple people's sides. So because I was actually messing with some of my own technical issues before I actually jumped in, and it's one of those things where, you know, there's no structure to it. You can't control, because then that stream was that the stream I went for 12 hours. I can't remember if that was or if that wasn't. It may have been, but yeah. So there's a lot of sort of chaos. There's a lot of unpredictability, and I feel like that can kind of trump your ability to perform, because this is a performance. Whether or not you're a flesh tuber or you're a VTuber, it is a performance. It's simply the difference between being an actor on a stage and having a marionette where you are controlling the strings, because that is one of the reasons that I don't do flesh tubing anymore, because I did. And the other night, I even turned on my camera while I was playing some music. And because the reason isn't because I'm afraid of people seeing my face. It's more of, I know that I can program into my model ways to make up for what I'm lacking if I were to be performing live. Your boy leaves his mouth open, and on a VTuber model, I can set it so if my mouth is only slightly ajar, it is still closed, and it doesn't affect with the speech. Because I tell you what, I watched back some of my old streams before I did VTubing, and like there are times where I was like, how was my mouth not so dry? Because it was just open, blank stare at the screen. I mean, it was not fun to look at. It just was there. And I agree with you where, Vamrela, where you were talking about how you need to innovate, but I also think that you don't necessarily need to innovate completely. You don't need to like redefine what you're doing, or you don't always need to be, you know, trying new things or experimenting. If you have a quality setup, your audio is balanced, you have good visuals, there's no lag, your stream is stable, and your chat is well moderated, there are lots of fun things to do that they might be as simple as just sound effects. That can be all you need. That can be all you need, and you can compete with people who have been doing this for years, because what really matters and what people get really drawn to is you. Whether or not it's sometimes, yes, there are people that will simp over models. I've seen so much Rule 34 of Val, I can't even begin. It's all over the internet. We all know. It was on the news last night. But
it's on the news now.
Yeah, I mean,
I have my local news channel pulled up.
Several windows, and I'm currently sitting. The reason, if my audio sounds different, it's because I'm actually in the parlor getting a tattoo of Val on my ass cheek right now. Yeah, I'm using the fabled noise gate to make sure that you can't hear it. And yeah, because one thing my dad instilled in me, good old Joseph, one of the things he's told me since I was very, very young is, it doesn't matter what, oh, he's gone.
Goodbye.
It doesn't matter what you do. He said, I don't care what you do. I don't care. As long as you're a good man, I don't care who you become. What I care about is that whatever you decide to do, you become the goddamn best that there is.
I can't.
That is what will make you successful. That is how you'll be able to support a family. That is how you stand out among everyone else that is doing what you do. And that's something he did. That's something he continues to do to this day. That's when he was a locksmith. He was doing it for Teddy Roosevelt's granddaughter. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt's great-granddaughter. He was doing it for the Schwarzeneggers. He did it for the original Wonder Woman. I mean, he had like really, really like high up there celebrities. Not always like, you know, not the A-listers, because we're on the East Coast, so you know those guys are on the West Coast. But like a lot of like politicians and stuff were having him do their locks, and it's because he separated himself out. He would come out, didn't matter what time of day it was. He would always wear jeans and a polo that was tucked in. He was presentable, clean cut. Coast issue, absolutely a Coast issue. And yeah, like he was the best. He knew what was going on. He knew all the products. He could cut all the locks. He kept the keys, so he had your key. If my dad redid your house and you said, oh shit, I lost my key, he knew what the pin was, or he had a spare key, and he could get over there in less than an hour and he could get you back in your house. And that was something that other people couldn't provide. It was something that they might do in a freak instance for maybe their largest customer. My dad would do it for whoever needed it. And it set him apart. And it didn't matter that he wasn't like the most handsome dude on the planet. He's very handsome. Don't get me wrong. He aged like Robert Downey Jr. And fortunately, I have also inherited that, getting better, only getting better with time. But yeah, it really was just that you set yourself apart. You don't have to do things other people aren't doing. You have to draw in that attention. And that's a really tall order on the internet, where
Yes.
you aren't just getting people in your local area. You are now getting people from all over the world, and in your local area. And it's rough.
We're the MILFs.
And that's something.
Eric down the street.
Eric, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Getting it from
His
all.
arms are bigger than mine. What will I do?
He actually has
Yeah,
a
but
belly
not only-
button.
No.
You're competing with everybody else for that same attention.
Yeah.
Everybody else
Yes.
is looking is wanting to get that attention.
Well, so then
Absolutely.
that leads me to a question and this is a question for both of you, and even in chat for those who are streamers, is not that.
That's a great question. And you know, the only thing I can say that is
Thank you. Your wonderful co-host and
that
host, everyone.
Really brings a lot of thought.
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about that, Vamrela?
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Puffs or Kleenex right now.
Publix brand.
Publix brand.
Publix brand. I thought you were gonna say toilet paper.
So, but
You know what? I have done that.
the question.
I do it all the time.
Achoo.
You have to do what you can.
Achoo, indeed. Bless your face. Okay, bless your beautiful face. Now, the question that I want to ask, this is for not only you guys, but also people in chat, is, as a content creator, as a streamer, at what point do you have to decide that innovation is a necessity to grow and continue? Because while one may say that you can remain constant the entire time, unless you prefer missionary your entire life, some form of change is inevitable, because people will not be content, and this is just human nature. Not everybody's going to be content with the same content every single time. That's why if I was a TF2 streamer and I did nothing but TF2 content, I'd run into the Muselk situation. And I say Muselk situation, for those who know, was a big TF2 streamer and YouTuber, transitioned and is now playing in-place Fortnite. He's been playing Fortnite and done Fortnite videos for like 5 years, and he's stayed at like the same. He's suffering from Game Grumps syndrome, where he stayed at the same like 9.5 million subs and hasn't grown in like 5 years because he hasn't done anything new. So at what point, and this is for everybody again, at what point do you decide as a content creator innovation must occur in order to encourage growth? While still
I'd love to go on a tangent about this.
While still
Do it.
And as a side thing, while still maintaining your same personality.
I would separate the personality from the innovation part, because you want your personality to stay a constant. But so an example of your father, example of any streamer, save for like the corpo tubers who kind of have everybody else, you know, they know what works for the corporation. They have other people set it up. Obviously I didn't start off with channel points or anything. Everything I've done, every little change I make, even if it's something as simple as adjusting the color of the textures on my shirt, that is an innovation on my stream, on my model.
Then how would you define innovation with that?
Oh, it's actually, I was about to say that.
Oh.
Innovation is any small change, or just any change, big or small, that you make to what you're doing, whether it's in a business or your stream, your model, whatever. Any change that you make that improves the quality or does something a little bit different. So as far as like doing something a little bit different, say you just download some MP3s and you add them as rewards. Well, that does something different. What that intends to do is to bring more chat interaction in. That is a change. That is an innovation for your stream. It doesn't have to be an innovation in the market, an innovation in the streaming community, like discovering a new game and getting popular off of that. It's just anything that helps you grow. And I think that coming into VTubing with this business perspective that I have, a lot of people start streaming, and there's nothing wrong with starting it for very personal reasons, but then you also have a great amount of people that start it going, I'm going to make lots of money streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize, well, to do that, you need to think about it as a business. What do you need to do as a streamer to get your business going? You know, what changes do you have to make? What's the face of what you have to do? All of that. It is a business. It is a business.
Can you approach?
And businesses.
Go. If you finish your thought, and then I'll ask this after.
Very few businesses can survive by doing the same thing over and over and not innovating in any way at all. JCPenney's, Sears, so many of those big name retail stores or anchor locations in malls are closed. Radio Shack. They didn't innovate their models. They didn't adapt to the internet and the growing, rise of e-commerce. I'm trying to think of another example.
Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bed Bath & Beyond.
Blockbuster.
Same thing.
That one's personal to me.
Blockbuster. Blockbuster's a big one.
Blockbuster, yeah. They didn't innovate. And if you as a streamer don't do anything to make those small changes, and you want to make money, so in the case if you want to make money or grow, you don't make changes to your stream that benefit you, you aren't going to grow the way you want to. And you're going to get this kind of... It'll bring you down. It'll bring you down, I think.
Then because we talk about innovation, can innovation be a bad thing?
Absolutely. You can have innovation backfire on you.
Can you give some examples?
Panera charged lemonade.
What?
I mean, when you think about it, like
He had that one in the chamber.
Yeah. Holy crow.
That was ready to go.
I think really fast. Sorry, that's the.
Or maybe you just had that, you were harboring that deep resentment for the day it'd be brought out.
I mean, it's a very recent and relevant topic, I would say. I mean, Panera decided to innovate in their menu, and they decided to bring in, energy drink lemonade to their stores. Well, they went about it the wrong way. They didn't provide proper disclosures, and even though if they had done it the right way, then maybe it would have been a hit, But instead they went about it the wrong way, and now 2 people have died. People are more aware of it, but not aware of it in a good sense, like, oh, I heard this thing is great, I'm gonna go out and try it. It's more like, stay away from this thing. It's going to kill you.
It's interesting that you bring that up because, like, I used to work at a Starbucks, and I've talked about it before. I worked at Starbucks for about 2 years, and I feel like they're a very good example of how innovation can be a bad thing. because it makes me think of new mobile Discord is a very good thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring it up if you didn't.
Forget Starbucks. I mean, we all know what bad Starbucks is. Discord mobile, just the entire change they did just came out of nowhere. Like, it makes me think of the Breaking Bad thing where Walter White is getting yelled at. He's like, we had a good thing going and you just had to ruin it with your ego and pride. And that's what happened with Discord, is they got too big for their britches and they thought, yeah, let's see what's going on here. Let's change this and let's do it. Bogori's right. Everybody on Twitter is just ripping them a new one.
Yeah, well, okay, people on Twitter rip everyone a new one, especially since they changed to X, which is yet another one that was innovative.
Just about every decision X has made, while maybe innovative, by, a definition, has not gone well for them. But I mean, to be fair, that has also been kind of the fault of their, I'd say it's ex-CEO now, but I guess maybe just owner.
Jack Dorsey?
No, he's no longer.
Yeah, no, you said ex-CEO.
Yeah,
because
she
the
means
new
the
CEO is
CEO of
Linda.
X.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, it
Yep,
got
I
passed over
heard
to
it
Linda.
and I was like, that's gonna be so confusing.
Sorry.
I never even thought of
But, like,
that.
I didn't know if I wanted to say his name or not, because then you bring in a whole other discussion
Oh,
of everything that
right.
he stands
Yeah.
for.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's people, there's always going to be, like, especially with people that involve themselves so heavily in politics, it's always difficult when people do that, because if you're going to own Twitter but also be incredibly political, then you're kind of pulling in all this
But then also advocate
weirdness
for
to
free
it.
speech.
Yeah, and bear in mind, for
Yeah.
those watching, don't worry, this is not a political show. We're merely
Yeah.
talking about the business aspect of Twitter and how it applies to VTubing. Because for instance,
Observations.
it's exactly observations. Because what I was going to say is, the opinions one may have about X and how Elon Musk has handled it, to be fair, from a business aspect, that is an innovation that Elon Musk is trying to do, whether good or bad, whether you disagree. He's trying to separate it from Jack Dorsey's Twitter.
Do you
And
disagree or disagree?
I know what I
That
said.
was a lapsus linguae.
No, whether you agree or disagree.
From a business perspective, that's another thing about VTubing, is one thing that I have done my best to do is stay completely away from drama. And giving my opinions on drama, unless it's something that I am vehemently against, like
Pineapple on pizza.
withholding my opinion. But,
Too political.
yeah,
I've been outed. Well, I outed myself. I doxed myself. I'm a picky eater. So it's very easy for me to be like, yeah, pineapple on pizza sounds absolutely freaking disgusting. And people are like, well, you should pick me, so I guess we'll let that slide.
I personally will not try it. I wouldn't be a big fan of it, but each their own. I'm very much an each your own kind of person. But I don't comment on drama. I don't comment on anything political. I don't do any of that because I have seen cases where people do it and it backfires on them so heavily, and in the case of Twitter and Elon, things that he's said, well, now you're getting less advertisers on Twitter, and
Right, so
already the
people who are
advertisements are
very
so
against
bad.
political stances, or just don't like Elon Musk the person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a big thing for me, is that when you think Twitter, you think, or when you think Elon Musk. When you think Twitter, who did you think of? For some people, you know who that is. I'll be real with you. I have no idea who used to own Twitter, because I didn't associate Twitter with the person who made it. I associate with Twitter, and that's the way it should be. It's the same thing with Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. The fact that Mark Zuckerberg is synonymous with Facebook is actually a problem for the company. As long as his image is not tainted, it's fine. But remember with like Steve Jobs with Apple, where people love Steve Jobs, and then
Who's Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs, right? Exactly. And then people found out that Steve Jobs wasn't as great a guy as
How you're not
people
gonna
thought he
fall for
was,
that?
because
You're not
they
gonna...
just really liked the.
You say Mark Zuckerberg, and every time I hear his name, I think of the stupid. I don't know whether he was on some sort of stream or something.
Yep.
And he just had a bottle of Baby Ray's on a shelf in the background.
Whoa. Okay, maybe I don't know this. What?
That's the
Oh my God,
Lord's
yeah,
barbecue. Don't you disrespect it.
Sweet.
Yes, for some reason, on just like a shelf on a bookcase, he had an unopened bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I feel like he might have done that on purpose just because I feel like he wants so bad to be a meme lord and not a meme. There's part of me that truly believes he may have done that on purpose.
To be fair, whenever I hear Sweet Baby Ray's, I just think of the comedian YouTuber Trevor Wallace, who was talking about Buc-ee's, and he's like,
Oh, God.
he's like, man, it smells like somebody's vaping a brisket. What is that? A1? just like puts his finger in the air, tastes his fingers, like, nope, Sweet Baby Ray's.
Oh my God.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
But yeah, so we're moving a little bit. We got 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure I ask this question because I think it's a very good wrap-up question. Is if I've never been to a Buc-ee's, I've never been to Texas. What reason do I have?
Depends on what part of Texas.
Go to Texas
is
or go
so
to
big.
Buc-ee's? Because those are two very different
different things,
questions,
yeah.
and they both matter.
My goodness, it smells like meat and a felony in there.
B brisket.
It's really hard to tell in Texas.
Thank you for that, Bagori. But yeah, so here's the question that I think is perhaps very most important to this. Is we talk about it's run like a business, and we talk about how managing like that will help you succeed a little bit. But since a majority of people who do VTubing are doing this as a hobby, how does one run a hobby like a business without giving it as much of the attention and treatment as a business requires? Because what is the incentive? What is the motivation if it's a hobby and you're treating it like a business as opposed to a hobby? Because if I get into say something like Warhammer is a hobby, and I'm spending money to have fun on that. But the moment I start doing it to make a job out of it, well, that certainly changes the attitude, and that can certainly change how I view it. So how can that be applied to people who treat VTubing like a hobby?
Well, you actually kind of answered it yourself. It's when you start wanting to make money from it and stop doing it as just a hobby that you need to shift your perspective on it. If you're streaming just to have fun, you don't care about that ad revenue, you don't care about the subs, the bits, donations, none of it, then you don't need to think of it like a business. You're doing it to have fun. And I'm not saying that if you do it, to start making money, that you're not also having fun, but you also need to keep in mind that if you want to keep making money from it, you're going to have to think about it a little bit like a business.
That's actually something I think a better comparison rather than Warhammer would be dungeon mastering, because that's something that's very near and dear to me.
Warhammer was the first thing I just thought of.
Yep. No, you're good.
That's an expensive hobby.
It is. So and Dungeons and Dragons can be very expensive as well. The books are $60 a pop at a base. There's a bunch of different kinds. That's if they're still together. The figurines I literally have when we were closing down one side of the when we were closing on the optometrist side of the ophthalmology center that I worked in. I didn't steal it. I say stole, but it was stolen with permission from the regional manager's position. I got some of the glasses cases that they had. And so I have these, it's a 4-foot by 3-foot case that is the perfect size for Dungeons and Dragons minis. And I have one that's completely full. It is completely full of either dice, minis, or some other Dungeons and Dragons paraphernalia I've accumulated over the 8 years I've been playing, 9 years I've been playing now. And when I was dungeon mastering, I put hours and hours and hours and hours into building the world, setting up different characters, making new NPCs. And I realized at some point that it was becoming like a part-time job. And it's difficult to change because I think you make a really good point. You have to think of it as a business if you want it to be a business. And I didn't think of it as a business. I thought of it as a fun weekly activity that me and my friends did. They came over every Wednesday. We played for about somewhere between 5 and 7 hours. And then we go home, we go to sleep. And so for me, that was just what my friend group did on Wednesdays. And now that I'm older and I don't have that kind of time left, where it's like now if I'm doing that, especially with streaming, that needs to be time that is very, very well spent. And I have very much considered doing dungeon mastering as a business, because when you put all that work into it, you put all that effort in, the only thing that changes is how you monetize it. Because that really is the only difference. You can run an incredibly successful stream that would make a lot of money and just have all your things be channel points. And then the second you decide, hey, I would like to make some money off of this, you just take some of those and you move them over to bits. It's not an instantaneous solution, but it does change things. It changes that, okay, now we're starting to monetize this, now we're monetizing that. That was something I experimented with the ads, where your split for ads is abhorrent. It's like 33% unless you run at least 3 minutes of ads an hour. And that goes up to 55, which is still not the most amazing break, but it's better than what you're getting.
Yeah.
Well, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just it's a very interesting thing to think about, and again, that just that's just from person to person, is just thinking about how much of a commitment, I think is the word, is to use, is how committed are you with this hobby? Because if your commitment is not as big, well, then it stays at mostly a hobby. But if you get really, really committed and really, really into it, well, then maybe you want to expand. Maybe you want to do a little more with it. At a certain point, you have to come to that junction where it's like, do I want to make this full-time work? And that just comes from the people who, is just like, is this what's worth my time? Is this what's worth my energy? So it's a hard thing for people to think about and understand. So I think you two bring some really, really good insights into that. Are there any last minute piece of advice that you have that you could tell the audience and anybody who watches the video in the future about how they can go about approaching VTubing as a hobby and getting into it with that?
I think one thing that I've definitely learned is that no amount of advice on the internet will ever prepare you for how much work you're going to put in behind the scenes. If you want to really go forward with it and make your model look great, make your stream look great, fine-tune everything so it's great, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of research. There's no, easy way to do everything. Everybody's setup is different, everybody wants different things for their streams, or how they look. It takes a lot of time, and you have to be willing to commit to putting in all of that time if you want to be successful, either as a hobbyist streamer or if you want to make money as a streamer.
Very well put. Phantom, any last minute things?
No, I think, well, I guess yes. I mean, I completely agree, where it's like there's a difference between a hobby and monetizing, and I think that the transition is, it's mostly mental. It's mostly mental and scheduling. But I think anyone can do it. It's just a matter of, if you're trying to make this a career, then you need to think of it as a career and not just like a 9-to-5 job.
Very well put. Well, we have, oh goodness, pardon me. We have a couple minutes. So what last minute thing could we talk about before we head out? Looking at your thing,
Oh,
it says,
we do have a couple of minutes.
Yes.
I was
Okay,
looking
man.
solely on the stream session. I have one question that I have been dying to ask.
This is the frogs.
It's the frogs.
It's the frogs. I knew it.
It's got to be the frogs. Look, I bunny waitress, but she loves frogs, but she's a bunny waitress. How can I not ask? How is that not the first question?
They're just cute. What can I say?
So why didn't you become a frog?
I didn't want to.
Fair
Tell her
enough.
the bunny ears.
She likes to observe from a distance.
So what if frog? What if a frog had
I don't
bunny
want to
ears?
become a frog.
Yeah, you just yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But would you kiss a frog if it meant they turn into a prince or a sugar daddy? I guess in
Yes.
this day and age. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
Yep. See?
okay,
Easy.
well, wait, there's a difference there. There's a difference there.
What? Okay. Yeah. What?
Yeah, because I have a prince. I don't have a sugar daddy.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that the idea is that you get money from them, but like some people are like, oh well, what? I freed a prince. What does that do for me? Not much.
No, I have a prince, but I'm the sugar mommy.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh my.
Oh my.
See, we thought the same
no,
thing.
It's just...
We on my end, we did that. Both of those so in sync. It was disgusting. Disgusting levels of same brain right now.
I had a new question.
Yes?
Do you think it'd be irresponsible to kiss a frog for it to turn into a prince? Because, and hear me out, because of this, that frog had no responsibilities. It didn't have anything it had to do. It just would eat flies and lounge about. It didn't have a care in the world. And all of a sudden you turn it into a human being, and now all of a sudden it has to pay taxes. It has to go to the hospital and afford bills.
It doesn't have a birth certificate. Now that I think about it.
Or a social security number, like...
Oh my god, you ruined it.
So
Let me be.
Dude, oh.
do you think that the whole turning a frog into a prince, do you think it's irresponsible?
I think the first question is, how did you know that frog was going to turn into the prince in the first place?
I don't know. The Florida Everglades are full of things like that.
Maybe I just like kissing frogs.
That's
Like-
true, but if you're going into the Florida Everglades to kiss a frog, you got some other things wrong with you.
Well, there's this YouTuber I watch that who is in the Florida Everglades, and he
Oh
just
god, The
Yep.
guy who walks around just raw dogging the fucking Florida Everglades.
Yeah, and-
Raw dogging the Everglades.
With
I
his
want you
carpet
to never
shark.
say it like that
kiss.
again.
He's gonna kiss the
How
swamp
about we-
puppy. You know what I'm talking about, Iron Wolf. You know what I'm talking about.
This is because Iron Wolf's from Florida, and so am I. I know Iron Wolf personally. We have both been in Florida for a very long time. We get the swamp puppies. Florida.
Do you then? How do you feel about the idea of going around and yoinking all the wildlife?
I think if it's the same guy I'm thinking of who walks around barefoot,
Yeah.
I do believe he's actually taking out or yoinking invasive species. from
Yeah,
the
that's
population.
exactly what he
Yes,
does.
he is.
Because he does that with
Yes, and that's a
with
great
boa
thing.
constrictors.
Yeah, boa constrictors, and I think some of the lizards too.
The geckos.
Yep.
The
yeah,
starts with a T.
yeah.
So
Okay.
toge
Whatever
geckos.
it is,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
So
Okays are cool.
I always thought it was
Listen, if he
tegu.
has the balls to do
Maybe
that,
tegu's a different one.
Oh, it
Go
might
ahead.
be tegus. That's not a gecko then. That is a lizard.
Yeah, a
If you're
tegu
thinking
is
of
like a
geckos,
water.
Okays,
A tegu is a water monitor.
it
gun
is
monitors.
not a
Those things
monitor.
are
yeah.
massive. I always forget because you hear like monitor lizard, and I think lizard small, and then it's like, oh, these
No.
things are like the size of a medium dog.
Yes, tegus are big. Tegus
So,
are about the size.
I
of the
used to
dogs.
have
The
a-
Santa monitors are the more.
I used to
ones
have
I
a
believe.
tegu, and it was a cool, like a cool lizard. Like he was so big we called him Appa. And
Oh,
Oh, that's so cool.
and so the thing is, he was literally just like a puppy, like a dog.
Yep.
And so passed away years ago, but I'm like, I miss him so much because like he was so cute and like his colors were so cool.
Well, that's how we're gonna feel in like 15 to 20 years when Tortellini gets full size.
So you know what's funny is I also used to have an Asian water monitor,
oh,
and so like not only did we have the tegu, but we also had the monitor, and so both of them were so cool to have. The tegu was Appa, and the monitor was Momo.
That's so fitting.
Yeah.
I have a bearded dragon named Nessie.
My gosh, we had a bearded dragon named Spyro.
Oh,
Mine's name is Dern.
Dern. Actually, no, we had two. It was Spyro and Irwin, but we called him Irwy.
Irwin.
Yeah.
the nickname
It's
for
Erwin.
Nessie is just Brat.
Brat.
Oh yeah, God, dude. she's broom eating right now, but whenever, she's active, turn on the lights
Yeah.
in the morning, say good morning to her, and then she get mad at me for saying good morning.
It do be like that. Well, it is 2:30. Time for the very last question, which is the second most important question is, do you have anybody that we can raid into?
Shoot, let me take a look.
That is a sick name, Enoch. I love that.
Eunuch, what's up?
A Chinese water
Yeah.
dragon named Enoch. So
Is that Enoch or Enoch?
either or. So, the reason why that's also cool is Enoch was, if anybody reads the Bible, Enoch was a prophet in the Bible that was apparently made his city so righteous that he was invited to go up and dwell with God in heaven.
Enoch.
Thank you,
So
Vigor.
I will DM you the name,
Yeah.
or the spelling, but it's the Wild Frog. He comes and chills in my streams even while he's streaming,
The wild frog.
which is really
Yeah.
nice. Fellow frog lover. He's a frog, PNG
Frog gang.
tuber. Yep. But yeah, I really appreciate whenever he pops in and joins me.
I see. The wild frog playing Going Medieval.
Yep.
Oh, wait, before I go, I need to see if I can... I hope Twitch doesn't have to review it. I want to add my raid emote.
Oh, it might have to review it.
That's okay if it does. Oh my gosh! Jeez. No! Why must you guys be like this? You and you wonderful people. Raid message. Oh my gosh!
What would be the answer? I wouldn't.
Why must y'all be like this?
I feel like I need the national anthem playing in the background. I don't know. I just love the national anthem. It's so talented.
I don't have my raid emote. That okay? Well, either way, are we doing? Do you want to do bottom squad today?
Sure.
Or yo, wait.
The bottom squad hops in.
Bottom squad hops in. I love that. Hold on. I'm very professional, guys. Can't you tell?
Yes.
Are we just bottoms here? Is that what's going on?
Hops in. There we go. Oh boy.
Are you asking if? Are you just assuming the three of us, or are you asking if everyone here is a bottom?
The three of us.
Good enough.
The answer is no.
Good
Good answer.
enough. Alrighty,
There's only one bottom here.
let me get that raid going.
But there is one bottom here.
So anywho, thank you so much for being on the show, Vamrela. I really appreciate it. My name is Val. This is Phantom Fame, and this has been Vamrela. If you haven't, please go support the Phantom Fame as well as Vamrela on their channels and their Discord servers respectively. Come follow me on Twitter at its_Valentine0 or join the Discord. I would love to have you both there. Wait, I would love to have you guys at both of those things.
All two of you watching.
All two of you
out of
watching.
11 that we actually. There's only 2 of you out of the 11 still here that we value, and you guys know which ones you are.
But not only that, please join me tomorrow, Phantom and I tomorrow, at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for our next wonderful guest, Vega Lyre. I can't speak because I can't read. Regardless, please join Vega with us tomorrow as we talk with him. But thank you so much, Vam. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you back on the show in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.
See, now we're still here.
Kind, you're too kind. Let me do a shout out to you, buddy. Ah, I see who's in your chat there, buddy. At 5 bottom squad hops in. Hey, thank you for the follow. You're too kind. You're too kind. Oh, I forgot how emotes work.